reports for websites. I could be wrong about that, but essentially, it's a pretty standard place to go read up on like open vulnerabilities that you might need to patch on something you're working on. But if you look at like just the total numbers, even if we just take the totals right per year, um, look at the jumps. Even let's just take like say 2021 to 2023. It's not going down, is it? It's increasing by almost what would this be like? Maybe it's adding like a third, in 3 years ish. If you go back further, I mean, 2017 had half as many vulnerabilities as 2023 does, like 50%, a 50% increase, over the course of like 6 years. So it's huge. Just overall, it's huge, and it if you go back to here, we'll do a comparison. I think this is a very telling thing. Okay, six string, 100%, not yeah, okay, 100% increase. You're right. I said 50%. Playing advocate, how much of it is due to just more software existing? Yeah, okay. So laugh. I think this is kind of, I'm kind of want to make the hint here, because look at this. Look, something happened. I don't have the data to prove this yet, but I think something happened here where particular languages and frameworks became more abundant in 2016, 2017. Okay. And if you remember our last stream, I actually pulled up data. You can go back on the last stream, and we were looking at things like package or like JavaScript payload size, and there was something else that we were looking at, and it had a marked increase in 2016, 2017. And in some cases, in some of the like those web statistics we were looking at, it was like just like a straight upshot around the same year. So I have a feeling that somewhere in this year period, something happened to languages, frameworks, etc., made a significant increase, and we kind of missed it. It kind of like skated by. And what you can also do is you can look at comparatively previous years. So check this out, right? So I'm trying to make the case here, so just bear with me. So you got 14,000 in 2017, which is a huge jump from 2016. And then from 2017 all the way to current, it has done nothing but increase, usually by quite a lot. Whereas if you go back to previous years, something before 2016, there was something different, and you can make the case that we didn't produce as much software back then, but I don't think we produced that much less software. So look at this. 2007, let's just go back by 10 years. 2007, 7,000 approximately, and then we went down, and then we stayed about the same, and then we went down, and then we went down, and then we went up a little bit, and then we went down just a little bit. And then all of a sudden we start going up. But even then we went down again, and then we stayed about the same. Right? So like it's a huge difference. Oh, even just going back like 10 years. But even if you go back further to say like the early 2000s, we had tons of software still. Maybe not as much as we do say in the last few years, but still quite a bit. And the number of vulnerabilities that we had then is still nowhere near the same as current years, and it is not following the same trend as current years. And I think that you could make the argument that this is at least in part, not completely, but in part, because of the way that we're using that we're relying on current nice abstractions and developer experience and things like this in the last few years. It's making things worse, not better. And I think the data bears this out. I wonder what an evaluation of the types of CVEs in those 2 years would reveal. That's a good question. Laugh, I'm going to do that. Laugh. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make a note of that. Here. As a very good question. So I'll go CVE. Compare types of CVE. It's like a breakdown. Yeah, that'd be NPM ecosystem. I think that's part of it, but I'm also including software in here because I think software issues are included in this data. And if you couple this data in terms of vulnerabilities reported, along with the increasing number of expenditures in cybersecurity, things like this, there is a case to be made that software is also a big factor in this, and it's not just web. What tech came out, OS frameworks, etc., and what the tech trends were. Well, I can tell you that like 2016, 2017 was, I think, a big year for React, which is one of the reasons why I pick on React so much, because I genuinely do think it was like it like attacked healthy tissues in the body of the tech industry and started degrading the industry, and it kind of infiltrated into other things. Other things kind of took note of it and decided that's got to be the way we do everything else, including software. But there's probably other stuff, you're right, Laugh, that like came out, and I think it probably is worthy of me looking into that. So what came out in 2016, 2017? I'm going to make a note of that too. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so then I actually have some studies. So this is going to be very it's going to be very in your head. This gets very nitty gritty, but this is the kind of data that I think is missing from this entire debate. The every time I debate this, it always comes down to my feelings, though, my developer experience, though. How about this intuition about the way you do software, though? There's no data. So I'm starting to get into data. This will be based on software, and further streams will continue this data-driven look with actual like scientific studies. I'm going to put them up on my Enlightened programming website, but I'm going to put them behind a nominal paywall because this stuff is taking a lot of time. And frankly, I do not see anybody else looking at the data this way. I do not see anybody looking at this. And I feel like I'm the only person who's actually willing to do a deep dive and actually string together an argument based on data about why we are in a very shitty place and we need to do better. And so I just feel like it's worth something. You know, the time and effort is worth something. So I don't know, I might charge like $1 or $2 or something, you know, just to get something for the time. But I'm doing all this for free on my stream so that people can get it for free. And then I'll probably just leave it up on Twitch maybe, and you can always go back. But yeah, so all this to say, I'm going to apologize in advance because this is not like watching, Prime or Tej or somebody code and do like, I don't know, something fun and glorious. This is very data, like tedious. It's going to be boring, but no one else is doing this. And I'm sick and tired of having these feelings-based intuitive arguments. I want to at least take a stab at it. This is a very interesting trend I haven't seen highlighted elsewhere. Same. I don't see anybody else looking at things like to this level. Think you've hit something here, Spiro. Good game. Thanks, Laugh. Yeah, I hope so. Hey, Marco on X. Back in 2014, React made sense. You'd be wrong with your take. No, I'm not wrong with my take. I completely disagree with you. React never made any sense. React was a stupid choice. You never actually needed it. It was just a skill issue. People just complained that they couldn't template the way they wanted to. It was all based on developer experience. I've already gone into the history of why React was made, how many times it was refactored, and for what reasons. And I'm going to present that data, and you're never going to convince me that it was anything more than catering to the lowest common denominator of developer skills. We should have just asked developers to just do better, not create stupid, abstracted, hide away what's going on solutions, thinking that that was going to be the answer. It was not the answer. It never was, and it never will be. And anybody who does anything like React in the future, I will say the same thing. I'm no longer convinced by simply stating it was the right thing that made sense, and you'd be wrong with your take. I'm presenting evidence. You're not. Hey, Ray on YouTube. It was the right thing that made sense. No, it didn't make sense at all. No. And I will present the evidence as I'm doing right now. Again, nobody's coming to me and saying, here's the evidence that demonstrates that A, we needed it, there was no other way around it, and that it's done nothing but good things. Everybody always says, yeah, but it's the right thing. Why? Why was it the right thing? Do you have the data to prove it? No. What you have is some kind of subjective experience that makes it okay for you and for others. That's right, because you said so. Well, I'm not just going to say so, I'm going to prove so. And I'm thoroughly convinced after all my research that React was probably one of the shittiest things we could have done to the web industry ever. And I hope we never do it again.